Whether as a student journalist at Trinity High School, a young sports writer at the Voice of St. Matthews, or an award-winning editor at the Kentucky Kernel at the University of Kentucky, Jack Guthrie always had a good understanding of the power of communication. But with his formal education finally over, it was time for Jack Guthrie's real education to begin. And after considering many opportunities here in Kentucky and in Cincinnati, he got his big break with Philip Morris.
They said, "We have a position in our public relations department in New York. How would you like to apply for that?" And I thought, okay, I got Cincinnati, Louisville, et cetera, and every kid wants to see how far you can carry it. I said, let's give it a shot, and I ended up in New York.
For most people, making it in New York would mean never looking back. But after 7 years in 1971, Jack accepted a challenge to return to Louisville as CEO of the Kentucky Derby Festival, a decision that took his boss at Philip Morris by surprise.
He said, "You're going to give up a career up here to go run a civic celebration?" And I said, well, that's part of the story. The second part is I want to eventually go into business for myself and open up my own firm. And his comment was, "That I understand. And if you're successful at it, we'll be your first client." And they were.
The Derby Festival at that time was just a shadow of what it is today. But it was Jack Guthrie who saw what was possible and instituted what are now many of its most beloved events.
Jack's the kind of guy that doesn't know how big really is. When you think about it, here's a guy that said, we're going to launch a bunch of balloons out of a field, and we're going to get the balloon pilots to throw a beanbag at an X, and thousands of people will come. Now think about that in 1971. Would you really drive out, sit in a field, wait for a balloon to land? Jack saw that vision. He showed this community what a great event could really be, and it was Jack that did it.
He was wonderful to work with, and he had a very open personality, and he was always very positive. It didn't matter what kind of hardship might come along or what kind of difficulty. Jack would get right into it and deal with it and consider it more an opportunity than a problem.
After the festival of 1977, Jack's dream of one day opening his own public relations firm finally became a reality when he opened Jack Guthrie and Associates. His conscious decision to locate its headquarters on West Main Street, at a time when it wasn't the in-demand location it is now, played a major role in literally reshaping the way we look at downtown today.
Now think back to 1977. Main Street was a decaying area, but Jack's vision was Main Street will be alive. Look where Main Street is today.
Part of that had to do with Jack's love of Louisville. He really does love his hometown, and he loves its history, loves the people here, and I think he saw that as a commitment. Going to Main Street with his business, I think he saw as a commitment to his community and to its history, and it worked out for him. It has been a great success.
I love downtowns. I lived in downtown New York and loved that. Worked all my life in downtown Louisville, and the urban core is exciting. It's the heart of a city, and I know that's a cliche, but it's very true. There are other cities around the country that do not have a center, a heart, and we do.
Jack Guthrie has been fortunate to be able to work in the field he loves and in the city he loves. But his real success is best summed up in the positive effect he's had on the lives of virtually everyone he's met.
More than anything to me, in sort of a big picture sense, is the impact he's had on so many people in this community, just one at a time. Help them out on an issue here, a question there. Sometimes they're a client, sometimes they're not, but he has always taken the time to make a difference.
Jack's an individual that gives back. He's not asking for somebody to give him something for nothing, and he loves to be involved in this community. The beauty of when Jack was in New York, he wasn't a New Yorker. He was a Kentuckian living in New York, and he's always given back to the city of Louisville. That's his way. That's what Jack does best.